welcome back to my channel, Adventures with Amirah. Today I'm going to do a get to know me tag for you guys, and I just wanted to share a few things with you guys to let you get to know me better. Alright, the first question was, where are you from? I'm from Georgia, although we currently live in Florida. What's your favorite holiday? Christmas, of course. I love Christmas. I love everything about Christmas. Like, I'm ready for Christmas right now. I'm already looking at Christmas decorations. People are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this stuff is out. I'm the girl that's excited that it's out because Christmas just reminds me of being little and of my dad and my grandma and just a lot of different happy memories. And so I just have always loved Christmas and my kids, and I just have so much fun at the holidays decorating and getting ready for everything on Christmas morning. It's just such a treat for me. Favorite YouTubers, I love Emily Noel. She is just amazing. She's amazing as a makeup artist herself. Her personality is just beautiful. I love to listen to her, and she really takes her time to explain all the products that she reviews on her channel. So I just love watching her. I also really enjoy Leanne Says. She is just a hoot. I love watching her, and I just laugh almost every time because she keeps it real, and she's such a beautiful girl also inside and out. Her and Emily Noel both are just gorgeous spirits on the inside, and that's why I'm magnetized to their channels, I think. I also really enjoy Angie over at Hot and Flashy. I have never seen any other YouTuber do reviews like she does. That girl, I'm telling you, she reviews everything down to each chemical that's in a cosmetic or a sunscreen, so I just really appreciate her channel. But there's so many. I mean, I must be subscribed to hundreds by this point. And everybody has something so unique to offer, you know. I mean, one person's view on a beauty product is totally different than the next person. One person might be looking for stuff for somebody with pale skin. Somebody might have melasma. So everybody has different things to offer, even in the realm of beauty. And then I also enjoy looking at people do DIYs on YouTube. That's always inspirational to me. I love watching people launch their music careers through YouTube because I'm a musician, my husband's a musician, he comes from an entire family of musicians, my children as well, and so we just all love music. So YouTube offers a great outlet for me to see all types of new music, and that's one of the things I love to watch on there. It's just different people starting their careers. Favorite song of the moment is Cheap Thrills with Sia and Sean Paul. We love Sean Paul anyway. My husband and I have a lot of his CDs from when he was popular back in the 90s and 2000s all the way to now. And I love that new song with him and Sia on there, so we listen to that a lot. Current book I'm reading is Outlander. I just got the series because I fell in love with the TV series, and I just really wanted to get the behind the scenes of everything that's going on that transpires within a book, because I know that you get a lot more detailed information in a book than you do in a movie or in a TV show. And I actually prefer to normally read the book first, so I kind of know the details before, but I wasn't familiar with Outlander before I started watching the show, and now I'm just in love with it. Favorite TV shows, obviously Outlander, and then we also really enjoy the show Power. We enjoy watching Cosmos on the Discovery Channel with the kids. That is like one of the best shows I have ever seen in my life. When we watch it with our kids, we're just all like sitting there mesmerized just at the infinite wisdom that we have yet to discover within the universe. I mean, it's just so intriguing to all of us. And so it's a great educational opportunity, not only for my children, but also for my husband and I, because my husband's an aerospace engineer, so he understands a lot of the physics and whatnot that goes into that show. So we really enjoy watching that. We also watch Chrisley Knows Best, which is just absolutely hilarious because we're from Georgia. Like, a lot of the stuff that he says, the little weird idiosyncrasies in his speech and stuff are so funny to me because they sound like my family. So we just roll laughing every time we're watching them. Sometimes some of the stuff's a little inappropriate and I have to like monitor what we're watching on there with the kids if they're with us, but it's just funny. I mean, we never stop laughing. We also watch Modern Family. We watched it one day by happenstance. It was just on, and I was like, what is this show? It had been out maybe 2 or 3 years when we started watching it, and now we just love it. It's hilarious. I also watch a lot of the Real Housewives shows. My husband's like, oh God, not again. He's was like, thank God we don't have any people like this in our life. Some of the people just are so dramatic and, you know, always out to get one another and stuff. So I find it intriguing. Because my degree is in psychology, I always look at it from a psychological perspective, like, why do people act like this towards one another? It's just fascinating to me. Another question was, what was my favorite subject in school? And that definitely was psychology. When I went to college, I thought I was going to be a zoologist, and that's what I originally went to school for. And then I ended up changing over to psychology, and I remember just loving the classes, even the hardest classes that people, you know, were like, you don't want to take that class. To me, I was just mesmerized by the information, and so that was definitely my favorite subject. Am I married? Yes, we've been married for 17 years this December. Have I been out of the country? Yes, we actually got married in Jamaica, and then we've been back for our 10th anniversary. We've been to Mexico, I don't even know how many times, maybe 8 or 9 times at this point. We've been to the Bahamas, we've been to the Cayman Islands. Best beach I've ever seen on earth, by the way. The Caymans are just remarkably beautiful. I can't even describe it. We've also been to St. Thomas, which is beautiful in an entirely different way, and we loved it there as well. We're definitely beach people. Anytime we were ever spending money for vacations, we were always trying to go somewhere tropical and warm and with the ocean. But we're hoping to get across the pond this next summer and make it over to Europe finally. I'm Irish, Scottish, so I definitely want to go visit both Ireland, Scotland. My husband wants to go to Germany and Austria. Of course, we want to go see Paris and Rome, and my son is such a little history buff. He can't wait to go see like the Roman Colosseum and all of these things. He's got a whole list of things that he's going to do. I'm like, we may need several trips for those things to do it all, but we just can't wait to explore over there, and that's a big thing that's on our list. Favorite food? Coconut custard pie. I am a coconut girl at heart. I don't know. My grandma and my aunts used to make this delicious coconut custard pie, and I finally think I've perfected the recipe. It took me a while and some little referencing with a few of my elderly relatives that were still alive, like, what was in that pie? So I think I finally got it down. Can I cook? Yes, of course. I'm a Georgia girl. We know how to cook. You gotta cook to have a good man. You gotta know how to cook to take care of your man. I know I'll get backlash for that, but that's how I was raised. The women, we take care of our men, you cater to them, but you know, they cater to us as well. So I definitely get treated like a princess, and I'm not complaining about that. Favorite restaurant? It's a Japanese place back in my hometown. It's the one restaurant that I literally have considered having it FedEx to me when we were stationed in Colorado and we had not been home in so long, and I was like, oh, I'm craving some of that stir-fried rice from the Japanese place. And it's like, we don't have a lot of fancy restaurants in the town where I'm from, so that's the place where everybody goes for homecoming and prom and weddings and engagements and any kind of celebration. You're gonna find them at this Japanese place because it's like one of the only nice places we have. But the food there is so good. I can't even describe how good it is. And I've been to Japanese places all over this country, and I've never found any that I liked as much as that. I've almost perfected their stir-fried rice. Almost. There's something I'm missing. I'm not sure. I finally got the sesame oil, and I know how to do the different vegetables and the eggs and the way that they do it, but there's some kind of little something that I'm missing. I can't put my finger on it because they do the big fire thing and all of that, so they don't really tell you what's in there, so I just kind of guesstimate. But that's my favorite restaurant. And my husband's too, I believe. We always go there when we go home. That's like #1 on our list. Favorite movies? I love Steel Magnolias. I'm a Southern girl. Of course I love Steel Magnolias. That's got to be probably one of my all-time favorite movies. I love Forrest Gump. I love Shawshank Redemption. I love Legends of the Fall. Oh, Brad Pitt in that movie is just heart-wrenching. What else? I love Twilight. I love all the Twilight movies. I'm such a Twilight fan. And it's so funny. I had not read the books, and when I was in physical therapy a few years back, my physical therapist introduced me to the Twilight series, and she's Mormon, and the Twilight series was written by someone who's also Mormon, so I guess that's the only way, because I could never see her really reading those books. Like, it just doesn't seem like something she would read. And she was like, you like vampires, have you ever heard of Twilight? And I'm like, no. And she was like, this is right before the movies came out. She was like, you really should read the books. And I remember I was pregnant with my daughter at that time, and then I had her and I was up all night doing feedings and whatnot, and I ended up reading that whole series within a month. I think I read all the books, and it was so good. And so we went to the premiere together when it finally came out, and from then on I was just such a huge Twilight fan. We also like True Blood and whatnot, but Twilight, it just stole my heart. I'm definitely Edward Cullen forever. Yes. PC or Mac, definitely Mac users in this house, and I was a hard convert. I did not want to let go of the PC that I had because I was so afraid I wouldn't understand how to use a Mac. And this was probably, I don't know, 8 years ago, and my husband was like, babe, we're getting a Mac. It does all these special things that he wanted it to do, and you know, he's the computer genius. So I'm like, okay, but I don't think I'm going to understand. And now when I use a regular computer, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not very user friendly. So I totally fell in love with Macs. And then we all have iPhones, so it just helps to have everything kind of connected. Oh, I wrote a little note here. I forgot to mention that when I was talking about favorite TV shows. So I'm one of the last people alive, apparently, that still watch soap operas. And I record Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful every day, and have recorded them every day for the last, I don't know, 20 years at least. I have literally been watching Bold and the Beautiful since the day it came out. I remember I was a teenager, I don't know, maybe 12, 13, somewhere in there. And I remember it came out, and my grandma, it was my great grandma, and I used to spend summers with her, and she only had 2 channels on our TV. She had the little antennas, and she had like ABC and CBS. And so these are CBS soaps. And so I remember every summer at noon or whatever time they came on, we went and we called them the stories. We went to see Grandma's stories were coming on, and so we had to go sit and watch Grandma's stories. And so because of that, I have been watching Young and the Restless my entire life, literally, because it came out long before I was born, and it's the longest running show, I guess, now on television. And I just love it. I still watch it. Victor Newman and Nikki Newman are still on there, and the Abbotts, and just growing up watching them and their families. Same thing with Bold and Beautiful. It's more of a fashion design house thing, and there's a lot of things they've done recently on the show that I'm not really happy about. It seems like it goes in kind of a kooky direction every now and again, but I literally watch it almost as a tribute to my grandma. I bet she's somewhere in the room with me watching. Her little ghost is probably perched up somewhere watching the stories with me. I also really love Star Wars. Now, I'm more of a recent convert. I don't think I really understood what all was going on when I was little, when Star Wars first came out. Or we watched it with the kids last summer before it ever came out, the new Force Awakens. And I wanted them to see it in chronological order instead of the order that they were made. So we actually started with episode 1 and went through 6, which, you know, they were made 3, 4, or 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, and 3. And I just fell in love with the whole Anakin love story, who is eventually becomes Darth Vader, of course. And so now, I never would have guessed it, but I'm such a Darth Vader fan because I'm totally team Anakin. I'm such a romantic at heart. Like, when he was like going through all this turbulence, and I never believe in somebody telling somebody you can't love this person or you can't fall in love, and because he was supposed to be the best Jedi, he wasn't allowed to have love, like monks are supposed to be dedicated to, you know, to God or whatever. So the Jedis are supposed to be dedicated to the Force. And I was so torn and tormented by the fact that he wasn't supposed to love somebody, and I hated that they totally turned on him. I think that's episode 3, but I can't remember. But I just fell in love with the whole series after that. And now I'm really sad that, of course, Darth Vader won't be back. But I never would have envisioned I'd be a Vader fan. But because of Anakin, I'm just team Anakin all the way. My kids think it's so funny. They're like, Mommy, you're on the dark side. I'm like, I'm not. I'm all about the love story. And they tried to tell Darth Vader, you know, he couldn't have his love. And that's how they all turned on him and how he got in this big fight. So I still think that it was wrong for all of them how they treated him. So I see the empathetic side of things and like what happened to him and why he ended up being so mean. And it helps me, you know, understand people always have a story. You never know what happened to somebody to put them in the position that they're at right now. So I always keep that stuff in mind, and I use that as a learning tool to help the kids be more empathetic towards others. All right, that's a little bit too much information probably for all of you guys, but just a little bit of insight into me. I'd be interested to know any little tidbits about you as well. Have a great day. Bye-bye.